team name is Whether or Not. So the challenge, our problem statements is around the data held within site diaries. So this data is collected daily on projects and should be stored, processed, and giving us instant feedback and insights for other upcoming work. Currently, this data this data is often not only underutilized but also not utilized at all, and that is a problem that we would like to tackle, like to solve, and unlock the value for the industry.
The data was coming from a number of Excel sheets which were exported from Vim 360. As you can see, there is a number of bits of information that are missing. We tried to fill some of these, however, there was quite a significant amount missing, and this caused us some issues further on.
We use other data sources and APIs to improve our data inquiry. For instance, we used historical weather data that we gather from Visual Crossing Weather API to improve our weather table and filling to missing data and fill into gaps. And also, we managed to identify a paid API for accessing the school and public holiday information, and we managed to extract a small sample of next 28 days, which basically wasn't sufficient enough to prove concept.
Description for the weather information, and we ran some initial sentiment analysis on this, which was deemed fairly inconclusive and a bit unsuccessful due to the nature of it being sort of a positive bias. So where there'd been heavy rain, etc., it was reading that as a positive. So there'd be more training required there of that process to sort of better understand what is positive and what is negative, perhaps using keywords, etc. And we've also started to look at some calculated columns around winding off of certain pieces of equipment at certain wind speeds, etc., which might offer more insights going forward.
Weather forecast information was obtained from the Met Office API. Data from the API was extracted using Postman to obtain daily forecast weather information for all the postcode locations in the raw data. The Met Office API only provides forecast data for the next 5 days. Data cleaning was then performed using Python script in Jupyter Notebook, as the raw data from the Met Office was not properly structured for Excel or Power BI use.
And as previously discussed, with some of the information that is missing, we were unable to find some particular trends that to find. We looked at, as you can see, there's a couple of ways in which we tried to visualize data to try and see those trends. However, there never seemed to be anything that particularly pointed at a relationship between any of the sort of weather data and the attendance on site. This is what we created so that the project manager could easily see what is going on with their attendance. They can see the difference between last week and this week to help understand where there's been a drop, see where their hot points are through the project, and also see any upcoming school holidays that might affect attendance.
With regards to integrating historical and forecasting weather information to project-specific data, we wanted to see if weather information or weather conditions would have an impact on specific project factors. Based on project information that we have, the main project data that would be of interest would be not the number of hours worked or worker counts. But ideally, if we had other information such as delivery information and project progress, we believe that this weather proposal could have a substantial positive impact when trying to analyze and forecast project factors against future weather information. In the dashboard created, we have a calendar using conditional formatting with wind speed and snowfall information, which would ideally inform projects of high wind speeds that would be of concern for tower crane operations, for instance. This calendar can be filtered by the cities where the portfolio of projects are located, as well as dates, including forecast weather information. We also included a comparison graph of total hours worked against snowfall by dates or time period, as we wanted to see whether snow or other forms of inclement weather would affect certain project factors such as project progress, deliveries, or in this case, number of hours worked.
Fits of our solution for the project manager. They'll see exactly what's going on site. They'll be able to look at trends and predict impacts on any up and coming work. They'll have a better basis for informed decisions. They'll be proactive in their management, won't be reactive based on the information that's being provided to them on a daily basis. And they'll be more informed about near misses, health and safety observations and other incidents, and also the trends behind that drive these, whether it be weather, etc. The project planner can see if subcontractors are on program, and that'll be sort of reported back to him daily, spot program slip early, and we can sort of pick up those issues, have those conversations. Can we see external factors? So whether there's an upcoming weather trend or any travel, public calendar issues, holidays, etc. that we've touched on previously. And then it will offer and hopefully often suggest mitigations based on previous stories that have played out on previous projects where we've had a similar trend, and it can provide solutions in that way. And the overall, the real benefit is that it provides better, safer, and leaner project delivery on all projects, utilising this data for lessons learned and insights.
So to answer the judge's first question regarding how or what other data sources and APIs would have improved our solution. So for instance, if we had access to an public API that shows all UK school holiday information, and then we could utilize that to improve our solution.
To apply some further machine learning to improve the prediction of the machine and the outcomes from the data that we're looking at, so we can identify productivity drops based on different variables. We'd like to connect emerging progress reporting automation tools such as BuildDots or Disperse, so removing the human more so from there and drawing from live data sets across the company. So we've got a constant stream of reliable data rather than hit and miss gaps or differences in the way each human is inputting their information. And we'd also like to improve the data capture forms at the start as a sort of an interim point, just to improve the data, minimize blank data until we can get the automated data collection up and running, and there are better data sources on and across all projects.
Free. What could be done to allow more insight to be gained from your solution? The key bit of information we'd want to now collect is understanding what we planned the attendance would be on site. Therefore, we can look at a comparison